I'd like to introduce you to Greg Vestri, former president and CEO of Food for the Hungry, who's going to tell us about a company he started called Vestment Global Services, which he established as a solution to the acute need of nonprofit organizations for vehicle finance. Greg, why is vehicle finance for nonprofits such an issue?
There's a couple of reasons why. Top of the list is staff safety. When it's difficult to raise enough money to purchase vehicles, what you do is you use old vehicles and you continue to use them well beyond the limits of what's safe. And when you think about a lot of these places where ministries and nonprofits go, they're in remote locations. They're driving on roads that have potholes, just dangerous circumstances. And I believe, as a former leader for Food for the Hungry, I saw a lot of staff killed or injured because it just wasn't the safest circumstances. And that was compelling for me. And I think with Vestment Global Services, what we're trying to do at the top of the list is help provide a safer condition for the staff who are trying to serve. In addition, it's hard for any nonprofit to scale when they don't have enough of the resources to be able to do that. And in a situation with a nonprofit, you're working with donors who, for the most part, want their funds to go to the beneficiaries, whether it's to drill a well, to provide food or education, whatever it might be. And there are some individuals that will gladly donate money for vehicles, but there's just not a lot. And there's such a huge need for working capital in a nonprofit to be able to purchase vehicles that it's just been a difficult issue to try to resolve. And I can tell you, this issue existed before me. It existed, for the presidents that came behind me, and it's taken us almost 8 years to look at lots of solutions, lots of opportunities, and try them out, and several just didn't work. And it seemed like this idea of a vehicle financing company would solve the problem.
So how, in detail, does Vestment Global Services help resolve this issue?
That's a great question. It starts off with going to individuals who may be donors to nonprofits, or maybe they aren't, and talk to them about the idea of impact investing. Taking some of the funds that you might use for your future needs and align your desires and your interests for serving people around the world with your need for investing to provide for your own future. And those donors or those investors provide funds, and those funds are then collected, and we provide a loan to the nonprofit. And the nonprofit uses that loan to go purchase the vehicles. And as they use those vehicles, they charge a small amount per kilometer that then gets collected and used to pay back the loan. And once the loan's paid back to Vestment Global Services, we go back to the investors and we pay them back their principal plus a nominal return. I say a nominal return because we really are trying to solve some other problems, which are just the total cost of ownership for having vehicles. And what we have found is a solution that really is about 40% less than what we could find in existing developing countries. It's really been quite exciting.
What is the current position of Vestment Global Services?
I mentioned that it's taken 8 years to work through a lot of options and solutions and ideas that many didn't come to fruition. We just couldn't make work. So back in September of 2011, the idea came up of what about creating a friendly leasing company? And by April of 2012, it came to fruition. We started the business. We started with our first tranche of $400,000 and our first client and customer and partner, which is Food for the Hungry. They've since then used those funds to purchase vehicles all around the world, and we've been working through, as Vestment Global Services, to build our operations, to create the foundation necessary to provide our, the support and the partnership. We're looking at doing another round of financing in a few months of about $400,000. And that'll help, meet some of the urgent needs that Food for the Hungry had of trying to purchase somewhere in the neighborhood of 20+ vehicles. Now, we've already had other organizations ask us, could we join up with them and partner with them and help address this issue? And, we're just trying to, take our time to get the solution right and prove it out before we go further. And it really is about the principle of think big, start small, and scale fast. And so we're really excited. We've got a great partner in Food for the Hungry. They're a fabulous organization. We're really thankful for walking with them because in this relationship, we're discovering things together. We're learning about, what kind of policies should the nonprofit put in place? What kind of legal documents do we have to have for having, loans and liens on vehicles all around the world? So there's some complexity to it. But the great news is we put a model together that really minimizes the risk to the investors and really maximizes the opportunity for the beneficiaries and the nonprofits that serve them. So we're real excited about it. It's been a blessing.
Do you have anything else you'd like to communicate to prospective investors or partners?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, I think this is a great way to take some of your resources that you're not going to donate, but you need to invest and you need to have for your future needs to make a bigger impact and to align the opportunity for your desire in your heart of putting those funds to use and getting a return on it. So I'd like to ask you to join us in this idea of impact investing. I'd like you to join us in a new way of integrating and linking business and development. I'd like you to join us to try to help address a critical need, which is safety for staff who serve in these nonprofits. But we're excited. We'd love you to join us. We're anxious to hear from you. Thanks.